very positive connections between what we're seeing and doing in the old world and how it may relate to Oak Island and the mystery.
You know, the design is very pronounced on a coin that's more than 2,000 years old.
We always thought the end of Oak Island would come with a massive gold find, or a tragic final tragedy. We were wrong. The end might come from the fans themselves. Season 13 has become a lightning rod for criticism, sparking rumors of cancellation that haunted the internet in early 2025. While the Laginas are pulling incredible structures out of Lot 5, the audience is asking a brutal question. Is this history, or is it just a cash grab? The answer depends entirely on which side of the divide you stand on, and the ground is shaking. The Great Divide. For over a decade, the promise was simple. Keep digging, and the truth will reveal itself. But Season 13 has turned that promise into a polarized battlefield. Since the season premiere on November 5th, 2025, the community surrounding the show has fractured in a way we have never seen before. It is not just grumbling anymore. It is an all-out civil war between two distinct groups of viewers. On one side, you have the history buffs. These are the people thrilled by the shift in focus. They look at the new excavations on Lot 5 and see pure gold, historically speaking. To them, finding a coin that dates back 2,000 years is worth more than any chest of Spanish doubloons. They argue that the show has finally matured. It is no longer about a quick payday. It is about rewriting the history of North America.
Big old square nail.
Yeah.
This one would be maybe late 1700s.
According to recent polls in major Facebook groups, this group makes up about 40% of the audience. They believe this season is the closest we have ever been to the actual truth. But here is the catch. The other 60% of the audience is furious. They are the purists, the treasure chasers, and the longtime loyalists who feel like they are being strung along. After 12 previous seasons of teasers, cliffhangers, and rusty ox shoes, their patience has snapped. They are slamming Season 13 as recycled drivel. They look at episodes 1 and 2, which reused familiar tropes from the Money Pit area, and they see a production team that is out of ideas. This split has created a toxic environment online. If you go to Reddit right now, the threads are exploding. It is a constant back and forth of breakthrough or bust debates. The negativity is not just limited to obscure forums. It has spilled over onto X, formerly Twitter, where fan wars are turning into genuine harassment. People are being attacked for enjoying the history, while others are being mocked for still believing there is treasure. The crazy part is that this controversy is actually driving engagement. The algorithm loves friction. Videos discussing these controversies are hitting 200,000 views, often outpacing the actual highlight clips from the show. It is a weird paradox. The more people complain about the pacing and the lack of gold, the more they talk about it. This divide is the heartbeat of Season 13. It is no longer just a show about a treasure hunt. It is a sociological experiment on how long you can dangle a carrot before the horse gets angry.
This is every bit a search for the truth, no matter where it goes, as it is a search for treasure.
The producers are walking a tightrope. If they lean too far into the archaeology, they lose the treasure hunters. If they hype up the treasure too much without delivering, they lose the credibility. And that is putting it lightly. The criticism has become hyper-specific. Episode 5, for instance, became a lightning rod for complaints. The team spent a huge amount of time on slow swamp digs that seemed to yield very little. For the 60% in the anti-camp, this was proof that the show is stalling. They point to the overuse of the narrator and the constant repetition of information we already know. The truth is, Season 13 is controversial because the stakes have changed. It is not about if there is treasure anymore. It is about whether the show respects the time of its audience. When you have invested 13 years into a mystery, you feel a sense of ownership. When that ownership feels betrayed by filler episodes and side quests, the reaction is volatile. The fan base is waiting for a sign that this investment was worth it, but while the fans are fighting online, the actual dirt on Oak Island is telling a fascinating story. The Lot 5 paradox. So here is the deal. The controversy is not just about boredom, it is about a fundamental shift in what the show is actually finding. For years, the Money Pit was the main character. It was the star. Everyone wanted to know what was at the bottom of that one specific hole. But Season 13 has pivoted hard. The focus has moved to Lot 5, and this is where the archaeological evidence is getting serious. We are seeing medieval timbers and structures that suggest habitation. This is huge. It suggests people were not just burying something and leaving. They were living there. They were working there. Expert Carmen Legg has been vocal about this shift. He points out that moving from a treasure hoard mentality to a habitation mentality changes everything. It means the island has a history that predates the searchers by centuries. For the 40% of fans who love history, this is the payoff. This is the proof that something massive happened here. But it is not that simple, though. This shift is exactly what is alienating the treasure hunters. Finding a stone foundation is amazing for a historian, but it is boring for someone who wants to see gold bars. The artifact leaks that happened earlier in the year sparked wild speculation, but when those finds turned out to be minor historical items rather than vast riches, trust began to erode. Take that 2,000-year-old coin mentioned in Episode 3. In the world of archaeology, finding a Roman-era coin in Nova Scotia is earth-shattering. It implies trade routes and connections that should not exist in the textbooks. But for the viewer at home who was promised the Ark of the Covenant or Captain Kidd's loot, a rusty coin feels like a consolation prize. The producers are trying to balance these two worlds, and it is awkward. They try to hype up these historical finds with the same dramatic music and editing they used for the treasure hunt. It creates a disconnect. You have the narrator asking, "Could it be?" about a piece of wood, trying to make it sound as exciting as a chest of diamonds. This is the Lot 5 paradox. The more legitimate the archaeology becomes, the less it feels like the high-stakes treasure hunt we fell in love with. The show is evolving into a serious documentary, but it is trapped in the body of a reality TV show. This identity crisis is fueling the fire. And get this, the production woes are making it worse. The teasers for this season were a mess of mixed signals. Some fans called them explosive because they hinted at Templar connections. Others called them unfunny bloopers. When the marketing cannot decide if the show is a serious investigation or a fun romp, the audience gets confused. The skepticism is at an all-time high. Every time a new top pocket find is announced, the immediate reaction online is doubt. Is it planted? Is it another ox shoe? Is it meaningful? The trust barrier has been broken. The show needs to do more than just find things. It needs to prove those things matter. The history is real, but the patience is gone, which leads us to the whispers that nearly shut the whole production down. The cancel culture of Oak Island. Yeah, about that, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, the cancellation rumors. Back in February 2025, a rumor started circulating that the show was getting the axe. It spread like wildfire on Quora and Facebook. People were saying the Laginas were done, the money had dried up, and the network was pulling the plug. Those rumors were eventually debunked. Obviously, we have season 13 right now. But the fact that the rumor gained so much traction tells you everything you need to know about the current state of the fandom. People were ready to believe it was over. In fact, some people seemed relieved at the idea. That is a dangerous place for a TV show to be. When your audience starts fantasizing about the end, you are on thin ice. X posts and TikTok memes have been ruthless. There is a popular trend mocking 13 years of nothing, showing clips of the brothers looking at wood with captions about wasted time. It is funny, sure, but it is also damaging. However, the ratings tell a different story. The show is holding steady at 1.3 million viewers. In the world of cable TV in 2025, that is a juggernaut. It is a massive number. This creates a weird disconnect between the online hate and the actual viewership. People claim they hate it, they claim it is a scam, they claim they are done watching. But they tune in every single week. What most people do not realize is that this hate-watching phenomenon is keeping the show alive. The controversy is the fuel. If everyone was just bored, the ratings would drop. But they are not bored, they are frustrated. Frustration is an active emotion. It keeps you engaged. You watch to see if you are right. You watch to see if they finally fail or finally succeed. But the toxicity is a real problem. The scam accusations on Quora are detailed and persistent. People are breaking down the cost of the equipment, the drilling, and the time, arguing that the show is just a vehicle to sell ad space for pharmaceuticals and trucks. They argue that the brothers are not finding treasure. They are the treasure. Or rather, their audience is. This cynical view is gaining ground. It frames season 13 not as a quest for answers, but as a business model. And when you look at the repetitive nature of the episodes, it is hard to argue against it. The formula is safe. It is predictable. It is profitable. But for the creators, this is a nightmare scenario. You do not want your legacy to be a scam. You want to be remembered as explorers. This pressure is visible on the screen. The team looks tired. The excitement feels a bit forced sometimes. They know the clock is ticking, not just on the island, but on the goodwill of the public. The finale, in January 2026, is looming like a dark cloud. It has the potential to redeem everything. If they connect the Lot 5 habitation to the Money Pit treasure, they win. They silence the critics, But if the season ends with another vague cliffhanger and a few more rusty artifacts, the cancellation rumors might come true for Season 14. The numbers look good, but the foundation is cracking, and we have to ask ourselves why we are still sitting here watching. The reality check. Basically, we have to look at this from a human perspective. Why are we still watching? Why is Season 13 the most controversial? It is because we are realizing that the mystery might not have an answer, or at least not the answer we wanted. We grew up on stories of pirates and secret societies. We wanted booby traps and flood tunnels. What Season 13 is giving us is dirt, rocks, and data. It is reality crashing into fantasy. The controversy comes from that collision. For starters, look at the narration. It has become a meme of itself. The constant questioning, the dramatic pauses, the linking of unrelated events. In Season 13, this style feels outdated. It feels like the show thinks we are stupid. We know the history, we know the stakes. We do not need to be told every 5 minutes that a piece of wood could be from a ship. This production style worked in Season 5. It is exhausting in Season 13. It contributes to the feeling that the show is spinning its wheels. The editors are trying to manufacture suspense where there is only science. Science is slow. Excavation is tedious. Real life does not follow a 3-act structure with commercial breaks. Everyone is obsessed with the end game. We want closure. But history does not always provide closure. It provides fragments. Season 13 is full of fragments. A coin here, a timber there, a stone wall over there. It is a puzzle with half the pieces missing and no box top to look at. The controversy is really a reflection of our own impatience. We live in a world of instant gratification. We want the answer in a 10-second TikTok. Oak Island is the opposite of that. It is slow, grinding, expensive work. Season 13 is forcing us to confront the fact that real discovery is boring most of the time, and that is putting it lightly. The wow factor sentences are still there in the script, but they ring hollow without the gold to back them up. When the narrator says a fine changes everything, we roll our eyes. We have heard it 100 times. This boy who cried wolf dynamic is why the fan base is so divided. We want to believe, but we have been burned too many times. Is Season 13 a historical breakthrough or a total waste of time? Are you part of the 40% who love the history or the 60% who want the gold? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see what they actually found in Lot 5, hit that like button and subscribe for more updates.